down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy investors? You tune back to the Savvy Radio Show, and we're talking about shyness. I think we all struggle with shyness. A lot of us don't admit it. So hopefully you'll gain a nugget or two. This is part 2, and it's based on this amazing article from Tina Sue. Go to Think Simple Now, type in Tina, or 20 ways to attack shyness, also, or 20 ways to overcome shyness. 3 basic components is excessive consciousness, negative self-evaluation, and self-preoccupation. Why do we suffer, or why do we experience shyness? 1, we have a weak self-image. That's one thing. You're putting your head down, you're weak. Okay, I'm not trying to be negative or mean. I'm sorry. But if you're putting your head down, you have a self-image. We got to build that back up. And that may be from high school or whatever. You're preoccupied with yourself. Number 2, you're more worried about anxiety about other people, what they're thinking. And you may have this random label. So I'm going to run through the first 10, and then we're going to break off the 11. Understand your shyness, turning self-consciousness into self-awareness, find your strengths, absolutely. Learn to like yourself. Number 5, not confronting. 6, focus on other people. I don't know where we get left off, but I just got punked by my son. Anyway, number 5, not confronting. 6, focus on other people. 7, releasing anxiety through breath. Eat. Releasing anxiety through movement. Definitely do it. 9, visualization. You got to visualize success. 10, affirmations. And that's where I left off on the last episode. So go back 20 minutes and get familiar with those first 10. All right. And one of them, affirmations, is a big one. Let's move to the next one. Number 11, do not leave uncomfortable situation. When you leave a shy situations, what are you really doing? So obvious. You're reinforcing your shyness. Instead, face it with fear. Face the fear, okay? Action smashes fear. Remember that. I know that my first time closing a deal, I didn't know. I just did it. I just showed up. I didn't know what a HUD was. I just figured it out. I was fearful, but I had action. With the internet, you can Google up anything, and we don't know if it's real news, but still, we can Google it up and have a perspective, which is a potential for action, and then you move on it. So if you're shy in an environment, force yourself. And don't leave an uncomfortable situation without learning something from it. Number 11. Number 12, accept rejection. Man, this is a big one. Number 12, accept it, realize it, it's possible. And there's 2 stories here. One, sales is the best thing. I hope that when my children get to the age that they're like, Daddy, I want to make money. And I'm going to say, yes, you can make infinite amount of money through sales. That's what I love about sales. It's infinite. The more sales you make, the more money you make. But see, the thing is, it's a numbers game. The more rejections you get, the closer you get to your goal. Man, I love Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, sales superstars. And you got to go through the rejection. I just got finished with Les Brown, and he went knocking on doors. He knew that he had to get to knock on 200 doors to yield so many sales. And he got his face smashed all the time. A lot of people don't do stuff because they're affected by rejection. And here's another one. Who cares? They don't care. Everyone's preoccupied with themselves. So when they reject you, that's just a sign for you to move on to the next one. You got to deal with it. Here's the story, though. When I was sitting down with couples and selling them my services, and I always had this system going on, I would try to make them laugh. And 90% of the time, I try to be funny to get people to laugh. If you get people to laugh, you can get them engaged. They soften their heart or they pull down the wall, and then you can just present the product or service. You got to find a way to connect with people, and laughter is a great way to connect. People understand laughter. But I noticed one time I was selling a couple, and they had the poker face. They would never flinch. I would say my funny joke, the lead to my goal, and it didn't work. And I was like, man, I mean, oh, they're not going to book. Well, come to find out that they did book our services, but what went wrong is I assumed that they didn't like what they were hearing, and they loved what they were hearing. They just didn't have the facial expressions. I felt rejected by their face, but they really wanted to hire my services. That is the most important thing with even shyness. And I know if you've ever dated someone before, here's another story. I dated this gal once, and she always had a mad mug. And if you don't know what mug is, face. And if you don't know, Google it up yourself. But the thing is, I remember I used to have some homeboys, man, there's something wrong with your girl. I was like, what? What you mean? She always got a sad face on her. Oh, so true. Okay. Facial expressions, rejection, learn them, deal with them, and move on. Accepting the possibility that we could be rejected will make your life so much more. And the more that you get rejected, the better. Just take it as a learning experience. You know, I lost thousands of dollars and I've made thousands of dollars, but every time I lose, I don't say I lost, I gained education. I love the folks when I'm hearing them talking about their story and they don't do well in something and I went to college, I got a master's degree and my wife has 3 degrees. She doesn't even work. It's education. Okay. The more you learn, the better. The more you reject it, the better. All right. Never take it personal. Find a lesson out of it and then move on. Some people are just dummies. Just leave them alone. 13, relinquish perfectionism. Okay. Relinquish it. Let go of it. Don't use it. Say goodbye to it. I just came across a book called his name's John Adcock. He has a book on perfectionism. I'd have to look it up. Actually, let me hit pause and I'll look it up. All right. I looked it up. It's called John Acuff, Acuff. It's called Finish. And the big point of this book is that we tend to immobilize ourselves because we don't finish because we think that if it's not perfect, that it holds us from getting it done. We need to finish and don't worry about the perfectionism. I used to have this. I used to just, when I finally let go, I can't remember. This is maybe 10 or 15 years ago when I started understanding business and started working in business and selling, and I realized that it doesn't have to be perfect. We just need to get it done. You just need to overcome the shyness. Don't be perfect. Move on. Number 14, stop labeling yourself. Man, people used to call you fat. You're not fat. Maybe you're a little chubby. But the deal is, stop labeling yourself right now. You are who you are. You are unique. You are beautiful. Remember that. We just leave it at that. Okay? I like myself. I love myself. Number 15, practice social skills. Like any other skill, social skills should be cultivated through practice and experience. My homeboys, we're getting together tomorrow night just to practice our social skills for real. Like, I even sent my homeboys a book. I'm like, read this book, try to listen to this book by tomorrow. Yep, overnight, 8 hours. And we're just going to work on these skills. If you know about the slow smile, you know what I'm talking about. That's a skill. Practice them. Number 15. Number 16, practice being uncomfortable in situations. Somebody asked me this the other day and they didn't believe me. You still go to the flea market? Absolutely, I go to the flea market. You know why I go to the flea market? For one reason, for my children. To save some money. Now, for them to learn to spend their money wisely. For me to learn to negotiate. It's an uncomfortable position that I'm in when I'm in negotiating, because you want to win. You don't want to say the wrong thing. And so I constantly, listen, when I'm telling you this stuff, that doesn't mean I'm some superstar, savvy somebody. I'm just normal person. I want to work on my negotiation skills. How do I work on it? I just figured the flea market's the best spot. And I've been rocking it for years. It's helped me. So I continue to put myself in uncomfortable situations. On your shyness, sometimes it's not social skills we lack, but rather lack of self-confidence that we may succeed. And a heightened fear that will result to fear. Okay, so you've got to just get yourself and you win. Like, hopefully my homeboy tomorrow, we win at this dinner. And then in the next one, he wins. And then it just easy. And I remember myself, man, I used to be so insecure, so shy. And, it's so funny. I put on Facebook the other day, anybody interested in public speaking? And then it blew up. I'm like, wow. I talk about Jesus and everybody's like, it's like crickets. Dude, I talk about public speaking. Everybody's a public speaker. Everybody's written a course. Everybody wants to perform. This is crazy, right? Everybody has this desire to be liked and loved, but it takes time and practice and skill in uncomfortable situations. Okay, so another 17. Here's another one. During social settings, you may feel nervous, or you ask yourself, what in the world am I up to? To distract yourself from destructive thoughts like you're not good enough, or you're fat, or something wrong, you ask this 3 questions. Am I breathing? Yes, I'm breathing. Number 2, am I relaxed? I got to relax. Even with this podcast, right before I go on, even though it seems natural, I still take a deep breath and I relax. Am I moving with grace? Am I smooth? I even focus on my walking sometimes. And I know somebody out there could say, hey, man, you feel like you've been walking sometimes and it feels uncomfortable. Has that been you? Have you felt uncomfortable when you've been walking? Right. I mean, because your mind is superseding your actual natural ability of walking. And, that's why sometimes some people walk with a swagger. Well, they've been focusing on their walking. All right. But you need to focus on grace. Am I moving with grace? Number 18. What is comfortable for you? Going to bars and clubs, maybe not for everyone, but that's okay. Understand what it feels like to be comfortable for you, and find the people, communities, and activities which will bring out the best in you. So now I'm going to figure this out. Now I'm going to so I got this whole thing set up for tomorrow, for Thursday. Or today, I don't know what day it is. I'm going to set this up, right? One homeboy doesn't know about the other homeboy. And they're both my homeboys, but they don't know each other. And one of my homeboys may be shyer. I think they're both shy. One of them clams up real tight, and the other one seems to be shy. So it's going to be very interesting how this is going to happen. Now, of course, I'm sitting in this dinner as well, and I'll probably engage people. But the point is, I'm only going to engage for a little while, and then I'm just going to let them see how they develop. And then afterwards, I'm going to reach both of them separately. You see, I set this up to make you uncomfortable because now you don't know where you're going for dinner. I just sent them the address. I sent them the time. I don't even know. One of them knows that the other one's coming, but the other one doesn't know. Number 19, focus on the moment. Be mindful of what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing. Be mindful of what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing. I know that sounds kind of flippant there. Well, take focus away from yourself is what I'm trying to say. So focus on what you're doing. Right now, I am focusing on a podcast. I'm not worrying that my shirt might be unbuckled or I might gain about 20 pounds. Nope. I'm focused on, I'm thinking, who could I speak to? Who am I speaking to right now in this podcast? Who? Oh, Timmy, you hear me? Can you feel me? You got it. Be mindful of what you're doing and focus on that. Number 20, bang, bang. Seek and record your successes. As you overcome this condition of this dumb labeling of shyness that someone has told you and you've reinforced it, or you've told yourself this, that you're going to document that you went to the club or you went to the dinner with Jackie Savvy, jacked up Savvy landlord or whatever they call me, and you overcame that and you document that. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed the shyness. Let your boy know. Other than that, mad love to Tina Sue for really doing the hard work, man. I just read what this chick said and add a little lib. It makes my life easier. But hopefully one day this girl will hear this, that her article that she wrote whenever made an impact in someone's life. Hopefully you like this radio show. I'm your boy, OKC, doing it, thesavvyradioshow.com. If you got something to say or if this helped you or wherever you're at, I would appreciate it. Let me know so I can get it out there and share it with somebody else.
Thanks for listening to The Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.